So Yami pulled an Itachi while wiping out his clan and his family members based on the claim of Ichika. And it's a huge question that we all have to speculate. And it's a huge bombshell as well because no one didn't see this coming at all. Especially when Ichika, she was irritated by Asta as he was praising Yami and fangirling over him, as she just told him, like, hey, this man is responsible for killing our whole clan slash family. And Asta is just shook by hearing this news. But the real question is, did Yami actually kill his family? Did he actually pull it Itachi? And we will find out later in this chapter and what's going on, because we're going to be focusing on Asta, especially in the beginning of the chapter, because he's trying to master Zenten, as he's training with 3 out of the 7 Ryuzen members, and as they go ahead and they continuously just owning Asta, because Asta, he is just getting knocked out, and it looks like he's actually training with all 3 of them at the same time. And it's kind of funny because they did 3 finishing moves on him and Asta is on the ground, as you can just see that most of them are just like enjoying Asta, as they're just like very, very hyped out, because Ryu informed them about Asta, how he's came from a foreign land, but he knows the basics of ki. On top of that, he's very durable because he was able enough to withstand Ichika's punches and kicks and the attacks. So as they continue on with their training, it seems like Asta was fighting all 3 of them, and they gave him a welcome greetings to the lands of the rising suns, as Asta is knocked out and being healed by Futimo, as he has one of his fish actually go ahead and swallow Asta as he's healing his body. But as that meantime, one of the members, the girl members of the Ryuzen, actually is fascinated by Asta, because she goes ahead and she talks to Asta, and she was just like, wait a minute, hey, is that your national hair color? Does everyone in your country has the hair like you? She's just asking him many other questions and everything, as Asta is just shook by like, what the hell is going on? And of course, the masked member of the Ryuzen is actually irritated by her, because he was just like, what are you doing? Glitter, makeup, the attire, you claim to be a shinobi, but yet you certainly do not present yourself as one. It seems like he is just very irritated because she's not following the traditional route, as she's going her own way, which is kind of funny because the girl member, it kind of indicates, or it kind of showcased that her key element is probably lightning, because you can just see on the top of her head and the sides of her hair that it kind of showcased lightning bolts. So we were able to see her clap back at the masked man, because she was telling him that this is coming from a dude who's wearing a weird mask. Like, why you always have such a stick in the mud? Sometimes you just gotta shut your brain off and stop overthinking stuff. And this doesn't go well with the masked man, because we can just see how the masked man, he's a traditional shinobi, and he just does not like how she's just not, her attire is not representing the land of the rising sun. And so she doesn't care at all. She's just like, you know what, I just want to wear makeup, I want to look cute, I want to look pretty. And she's just very hyper and very girly. And you can just see how we just have a brief moment of all 3 of the Ryuzen actually are goofing off, and Ryu is just actually laughing as well, and just like, oh, okay, y'all having fun, and y'all actually treating Asta very well. And they're just like, yeah. And then also too, Ryu is just like, hey, I know you guys are busy, but thank you for doing me this favor, I really do appreciate it. And they're just telling like Ryu, like, hey, no problem, we got you no matter what. So after Asta's done being healed, he goes ahead and he's just like, all right, I'm ready for training. And it just seems like the next scene, Asta is laying down by the river, as he is just so surprised and so amazed on what he has learned, because he actually figured out that these people, they're using Zenten in different ways depending on the person, because some people, they will use Zenten and an overall output to have a power of 10, and some of them will actually kick twice, which has the power of 5. Others, they will actually throw a punch and it will have 5 punches 5 times, but it will have the power of 2 that will equals to 10. So he's just amazed at the fact that Zenton is really amazing, especially after his trainers, they didn't actually use any magic. So he's just incredible to actually see how powerful this technique is. And on top of that, he's over analyzing the close combat that they actually were able to do. And it does make sense because Asta, he is a close combat person, especially with all his swords and everything. So while Asta, he's overthinking and trying to analyze all the information that he has learned, he is still a little bit frustrated because he's like, I still need to learn how to work on exploring my opponent's opening. I already have a hard time executing the perfect Zenton as well. And so while Asta, he's just staring at the sky, he's wondering what everyone else is doing in the Clover Kingdom. And so all of a sudden he sees someone coming towards him, and it's Ichika. And at this very moment, he's just like, wait a minute, what are you doing? And then so while Ichika, she's telling him like, hey, Ryu told me to be here to watch over you. And so Asta just like, all right, cool. So Asta commits to do small talk. He's like, wait a minute, by the way, how old are you? And she informs Asta like, look, I'm 24, which surprised Asta and probably surprised everyone in Black Clover fandom, because everyone thought that she was probably like younger, like probably the same age as Asta, because Asta's like, hey, I thought you're 18. And that irritated Ichika because she was like, oh, so what, you're telling me that I look like a kid? And Asta's like, no, you just... So Asta, he's freaking out because he doesn't want to get beat up by Ichika, because he's still thinking of the ass whooping that he has received from her while she used her Zenton abilities on him while they're in the bamboo forest. So Asta's just like, so what's up with Ryu? And she says that Ryu is extremely busy. Despite his appearance, this man is the administration of the lands of the rising suns, because at this current moment it's very unstable. He used the power of Tengetsu to govern this nation. Ryu's right eye is able to see anything and tell people and places in the present, which kind of explains Ryu's eye ability and how he's able to see in the future. But it's still a huge question mark because, you know, Tengetsu is not the only ability that he's actually is doing. I still think that he still has something that he doesn't want to tell us. So at this current moment, Asta was just like, oh, so what's Tengetsu means? He was like, what the hell does it mean? Isn't that too incredible? And there we go ahead and we see Ichika acts out of character, and she starts to go ahead and start fangirling about Ryu. She says, even though Ryu has no Ryoku, he is able to unite the lands of the rising suns in this troubling time. He used his cheerful wisdom and sheer popularity. Can any loser from a foreign country would not understand? Of course not, you fool. Ryu is truly wonderful. As she goes ahead and she does her pose, and then she realized that, wait a minute, I'm acting like a fool. So she got to hold her composure, and she says, estimating the person is now telling me to train you. And even if I dislike it, it's for his sake, so I'll do it. And just because of that, I trust him. And I have to trust him because Ryu, not only that he is the shogun of this whole nation, he also saved my life, so I owe him a lot. And also, he's very happy to hear about all the great things about Ryu, and he's saying that her, Ryu, and Yami are incredible people, and that how you guys have similar keys, and how he also owes Yami as well, because he's the first person to actually recognize his dream and actually help him create the path towards it. On top of that, he was just like, your older brother is also the leader and the pride of the Black Bulls. Even though he's rude and mean, he's actually kind of nice. But Ichika goes ahead and stops Asta in mid-sentence, saying that enough. She was just like, how can you speak about this man? Stop talking about him. And Asta's just like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, why? Aren't you interested in learning more about your own brother? Speaking of which, he also says that he ended up winding up in the Clover Kingdom after being shipwrecked on a fishing trip. And she replies by saying that knowing him, he's probably spitting a whole bunch of nonsense. That man is worse than any type of scum. I don't want to hear anything about him. And Asta is just shook. She's just like, bruh, why are you talking bad about your brother? he's your brother, he's your sibling, you are his sister. It's true that he's a bit rough around the edges, but she says that man has annihilated our entire clan. As Asta is just like, wait, what? Like, he's just taken back by all of that, because that came out of nowhere. That she was just like, yeah, that man annihilated her whole entire clan. And then we get a flashback on how this happened, but we actually see a young Yami and a young Ichika, as Yami is saying, hey, stay close, Ichika. As the chapter ends with a cliffhanger, as we see Yami is in front of this Japanese shrine called the Shigiwawa, because it is a shrine that helps purify evil spirits, so it fights off evil spirits. So it could be that the Yami is probably responsible, because he probably did something that was able to prevent the family's death. I don't think he actually fully went Itachi mode and actually it was able to kill the family and everything else, because Yami at that time, it's very hard to believe that Yami was that powerful to actually go ahead and wipe out the whole clan. And so it kind of just probably indicate that Yami probably did something, or he probably didn't do anything. He probably didn't do anything to help prevent the tragedy that happens to annihilate the whole entire clan. Or it could be that Yami, of course, could be framed of something, because it could be a giant devil or evil spirit that actually wiped out the clan, and then Yami, he was just happened to be there, and all the witness, they just pretty much accuse Yami for killing the clan, which is actually just not. It's just actually the evil spirit or the evil devil or some kind of way. Many scenarios can happen. It could be that Yami, he failed to protect the clan, and that why he was very responsible for their annihilations. There could be just many scenarios that could happen. The scenario that Yami actually went Itachi mode and actually wiped out the whole clan and only allowed to have Ichika to live is very far-fetched. I do not believe that, but we don't know for sure until the actual chapter actually drops, where we actually get the full story and the content of how Yami annihilated the clan. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, what you guys' theories are, and let me know if you guys do like the video. Please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is the Monotone Man, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be safe out here, and peace.